was in the middle of doing something else. I got a broken implement, but that's a whole nother video. And the UPS driver showed up, so went out there, spent a few minutes chatting with him, got a box. So then I had to decide, what am I going to work on? Am I going to work on dirty, broken ag equipment? Or am I going to work on something that says gasoline pile driver? Let me think about this for a minute. Let's get to work. Well, the wife and I got about, more than 35 acres here. And I don't want to get into the whole political thing and geopolitical. We went to the grocery store and there was stuff missing. So we decided to make a change. Let's just leave it at that. So last year we started with the meat chickens, and the whole infrastructure, we're all set up for it now. We got 55 chickens showing up here in a couple of weeks, so we'll be doing a lot more meat chickens. Well, man does not live by chicken alone. There's bacon, of course, so man can live by bacon alone. I'm pretty sure of that. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. So we decided to do pigs. Well, because of the laws and stuff like that, you can't just do pigs. You got to do pasture pigs, otherwise you lose your ag status. So we're going to do pasture pigs. So circling back to that 35 acres, 35 acres square is about a quarter mile each way. So it's about a mile all the way around. Well, we're just not going to throw a fence all the way around this thing. You gotta do these pens, and I don't know, she's got this whole plan. So when I say I gotta put up over a mile of fencing, that's probably on the low side. Used to rent out part of this place, and a lot of their stuff kept blowing away. So I told them they needed to put a fence up on one side. So they put a 5-wire up on one side. That cost $10,000 for a quarter mile of 5-wire. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Oh my God, I could get it done for half that where I live. Well, you don't live where I live. And not only did it cost that, it was about a 3-month wait. And this was not when things were crazy. This was pre-pandemic. So we're gonna do it ourselves. I've got a couple of those hand T-post drivers. I can do about 3 and I'm done for a week. So we decided to get a gasoline version. Now, I tried to buy a US built with US parts, assembled in the US. I couldn't find one at a reasonable price for what I need. There's some super heavy duty ones that, you know, you hook on the end of a Bobcat, and well, I don't have a Bobcat or a skid steer. And then there's some handheld ones that they're $2,500. I don't need that. So I bought an offshore unit, 2-stroke. I didn't go 4-stroke. I wanted 4-stroke. 4-strokes are about $400 more. So I didn't go with 4-stroke. I went with 2-stroke. I don't do unboxing videos. I'm no good at that. And the reason I know I'm no good at that is because people have told me, this is not an unboxing video. I didn't know. I looked in the YouTube rule books for requirements for unboxing videos. I couldn't find one. So I don't do unboxing videos. What I'm going to try to do, and go through it quick. I'm gonna unbox this. I'm not gonna explain everything in the beginning because I say one thing in the beginning and halfway through I change my mind. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unbox it, I'm gonna get it up on the shelf or get it up on the workbench and get it assembled and then get it fired up. So this is not an unboxing setup video, this is a open it up and fire it up video. There. Now tell me I'm doing that wrong. Anyway, let's get to work.
System manifest history.
Okay, let me give you my open up and fire up impression. First of all, what were the parameters I used to select this? I decided it was all cost. Everything was cost. This is something we're going to use a couple hundred times. It's not a business that if I'm going to be in the business of doing fencing, this is not the unit. We're fortunate here in the northern location that the soil's not real rocky. So I went with a lighter unit. This one it's a US Extreme Power 1500 watt gasoline pile driver. That's what the case says. From my research, most of these under that professional level and down are made by the same company. You can argue with me and you're probably right. But I gotta tell you, even the ones, the expensive ones, come with this toolkit. If I was making a $2,000 unit and I wanted to differentiate myself, or even a $1,000 unit, and I wanted to separate myself from the $500 units, I wouldn't be throwing the same toolkit in. So, me, I think it's coming from the same place. It's really hard to tell where stuff is made when it's not made in China because they try to hide it. And this assembled in the U.S. with international parts. What the hell does that even mean? You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm gonna get off my soapbox and get on my workbench here and give you my first impressions. Then I'll go out, I'll see if it can actually put stuff in the ground. First things, the case. One of the reasons I got this is because it came with a case. It has 3 hinges on it, but only 1 hinge pin. I don't know, is that metric? I don't know. It only comes with 1 hinge pin. So I got some nails I'll put in it. Second, wear gloves. Got myself, and it was just like, it wasn't even on metal. It was on the plastic. Down at the bottom, there's a ring. So depending on what size of device or thing you're driving, I'm using T-post. So I got the skinniest one, put it on there, but it had like a massive one. To me, it just looked like a shipping ring to protect those threads, but it had a little bit of flashing on it. It got me. Wear gloves. And of course, you know, as soon as I put the Band-Aid on, then I quit wearing gloves. So do as I say, not as I do. Over here on the side are the instructions on how to do it, because, you know, here's the little booklet. It's going to stay in the case, and the wind's going to catch it, and it's going to be in my neighbor's yard before I catch it. They're too small. I took a pic. I'm 60 years old, so I took a picture of it, had to enlarge it, read it, and it's kind of confusing. And the very first thing is there's this rocker switch that you're supposed to flip. Well, I couldn't find it because it's not there. It's basically this switch on the back, your little thumb switch, your on-off thumb switch. It operates very similar to a weed whacker, chainsaw. I prefer steel. I couldn't afford a steel one of these. Matter of fact, I had to go to John Deere, and I had bought this, and it was coming in, but I had to go to John Deere. I forget what for. It didn't matter. Oh, it's for this project over here. They didn't have what I needed, but they had one of these, a nice one, a really nice one. $2,200. Yeah, my van didn't cost me $2,200. Anyway, now I forgot where I was going with that, but final thoughts. It started up. Now getting the gas in, I had problems. These stupid new federal, it's like a nanny state, you know? Anyway, that whole nozzle thing that, you know, federally mandated, it just sucked. So I went the old school with the funnel and just poured it in, and it worked just fine. Got the fuel in, got a second pull, maybe a third, I wasn't counting. Just surprised how fast it popped right off. Standard stuff. Now, on some of the reviews, there was confusion over the imagery of the choke on, off. Well, they changed it. Now it says start and run. I can figure that out. So you put it in start, you do it till it pops, put it in run, and well, it runs. Standard with that, same thing with the handle stuff down here. You flip the switch up, you put the lock, you squeeze it, you put the lock in. You put it in start, you pull it, put it in run, pull it, runs, done. So very impressed with that. So overall, first impressions, it's gonna do what I bought it to do. I can't ask for anything more. And if I wanted to ask for anything more, I should have paid more. But I didn't. So let me get this loaded up in the van, get it over to where I'm gonna be putting T-post in. I'll drive a couple T-posts, and I'll give you my final impressions on the actual driving T-post. I was just getting ready to go out and actually start doing some work when I noticed this. It's a sight glass, and typically what it is for is an oil level. So nowhere in the instructions does it say to put oil in this. What it does say is after 50 hours of use, put this special lubricant in that looked like something squeezed out of a tube. So I went to the toolkit, got the handy wrench, loosened it up, and I gotta tell you, I don't know if you can see down in there, I don't think there has ever been a drop of oil put in this thing. So shot an email off to the manufacturer, and I don't know if I'll ever hear back from them. But what I do have is I've got some gear oil in here, so I'm going to go ahead, get some gear oil in it, and because there's no way I'm gonna operate this with no lubricant in there. I went online and I looked at some of the reviews, and some of the trouble seemed to be that this impact cylinder starts spitting shavings and fails. So pretty sure I know why. Anyway, let me get some oil in this and get it out in the field. Okay, and there you go. I probably got a little too much in there, but let me tell you, I'd rather have a little too much than not enough. There's still a little air gap in there, so when it heats up, it can expand in there. But don't forget that. I have a feeling this will have a very short life without oil in there. So I've been asked, if you got a truck like that, why do you drive something like that? Well, it's simple. The replacement cost on that is about $70,000. Gets about 14 miles to the gallon. The replacement cost on this is about $3,000 and gets 25 miles to the gallon. And for what I use it for, it does just fine. Today's going to be a fencing job, but what else do I need? about kicked my ass. Fencing is it's not for old guys. It's a young man's chore. This made it easier. I put 14 posts in today, and 7 minutes each, approximately. Now, I was using the tractor, so I had to move the tractor around, so that took time. But I needed that time to rest in between. So could I do it in about 5 minutes each? Yeah, I could probably do it in about 5 minutes each. So that's 20 an hour. I could probably go for about 3 hours and need a break. I could not have done that without this. There's no way. One, my age. Two, we're at about 5,400 feet here, and I've got a medical issue with my breathing, so no marathons for me. Anyway, let me give you kind of a final recap of my thoughts on this. A little cold-blooded, because I would shut it off between posts, and so I was basically shutting it off and starting it back up every 7 minutes. A little cold-blooded. Should I have just left it running? You know, I didn't feel comfortable doing that. So later when the wind kicked up and it would cool off a lot faster, it would be a little boggy, a little cold-blooded. After 20-30 seconds, it would clear up and the RPMs would go up. A word about RPMs. You don't want this thing on kill. It'll start pogoing on you, and that's the whole unit bouncing up and down, and instead of just, so you got to find that sweet spot, and that sweet spot is going to be different, not only for every post, but here we have layered clay, and you'll be doing great, and then you'll hit that clay, and then you have to slow down, and so you just got to listen to it. Hearing protection, I got out there and was working, and I didn't have ear protection. Or eye protect. I should have had. Do as I say, not as I do. The way I did it, from a safety standpoint, trying to use this, those T-posts are 6 feet long. Trying to use this from standing on the ground, forget it. You have to get it started. And just even the standard T-post setter, I mean, those things are about 30 pounds, and they're awkward. You need an elevated platform. If you don't have a tractor like me, the bed of a pickup truck would work better. I've seen guys using ladders, and I actually tried to use a step ladder out there. There's no way. It's not safe. It is not safe. I don't know what this thing weighs. It says the box, it says it weighs 70 pounds. I don't know if this whole unit weighs 70 pounds, but it's not light. And picking it up literally over your head and trying to balance a two-stroke engine with a piston going up and down on a hunk of steel you're trying to drive into the dirt. No, don't try it. Ralph Nader wrote a book, Unsafe at Any Speed, about the Corvair. I'm not saying this is unsafe, but I will say this can get away from you, especially if you're working way over your head. My recommendation, if it starts to go, just let it. And that was running through my mind. Yeah, I'm out here working by myself, and the first couple, you know, the phone's in the tractor, I started carrying the phone in my pocket. A mishap, you know, I can call somebody, but can I get hurt climbing the tractor and then get my phone? No. So anyway, just a word of caution. 2 people would be better, okay? This is not a toy. And like I said, it can get away from you quick, and it can hurt you quick. So with all that being said, am I glad I bought it? Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad I bought it. Am I glad I bought this particular one? Well, time will tell. I wish money wasn't a factor and I could go out and buy a $2,500 unit. Well, for that matter, I wish money didn't matter and I just write a check and have someone to do all my fencing for me, but that's not the case. Anyway, did I set all my posts perfectly straight? No, T-post band, don't worry about it. And that's another thing. Don't fight trying to get them in perfectly straight. Get them close and then bend them where you want them. As long as they're in deep enough, the post will bend, and after a couple rains, it's not going anywhere. Did I make progress? Yes, I got the unit in, I got it filled up. The sight glass, don't forget to put grease or oil, gear oil, in the gear case, okay? Some of the comments and some of the reviews, people were talking about metal, they'd operate it for a few minutes and metal shavings would start coming out the bottom. I didn't have that problem. I put grease in, oil. So with all that being said, thanks for watching.